Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakha HaKodash. I have certain rules I live by. My first rule, I don't believe anything the government tells me. This is a quote from George Carlin. The government lies and fear sustain government. Real patriots question everything, But the bottom line is, this is very prolific what he said here. I have certain rules I live by. My first rule, I don't believe anything the government tells me. George Carlin, he was a comedian. He passed away. I'm not sure what year. You can look it up if you are interested. Pretty much this lesson, I don't have a title for it yet, but it's based off of a Christopher Columbus quote. And I want to read the scripture, and I want to read the purpose, the so-called, or the cover story for Christopher Columbus's voyage over here. And what they said his voyage over here was for. So let me just go to the scripture. There was another scripture that popped in my head, but it just escaped me right now. Job 13:4. But ye are forgers of lies. You are all physicians of no value. The point that we're focusing on right now is, but ye are forgers of lies. All right, let's look up that word forgers. The word is sapal. Tapal. It means to smear, plaster over, stick, glue. And pretty much what they did is like, there's a term called copy and paste. Or you could take a document and erase certain parts of it and copy other parts onto it and forge the document. So pretty much the history that we know of today is pretty much forged history. It's pretty much BS. There's a French philosopher by the name of Voltaire that had a quote that he made about history. Let's see if it'll come up if I just click on it. Not videos, images. Here we go. History is a lie commonly agreed upon. So the philosopher, or the French philosopher Voltaire, said that history is a lie commonly agreed upon. And what we see today about Thanksgiving, about Christopher Columbus, about how the Native American Indians sold Manhattan to the so-called white man for handfuls of beads, and just different things that they've taught over the years to justify how they got and how they took everything, which was nothing but a lie. So let me read this again. Let's say it says to stick on as a patch, figuratively to impute falsely, forge, sew up. So pretty much it's like they got this big patch of lies over the truth, and they're saying that that's the truth, And then what we know, and when the Spirit reveals to us the truth, they say, nah, that's not the truth. That's some BS. That's some stuff you made up, some pseudo history and all that crap. All right, this is Isaiah 25:7. So that patch, the Lord it has a rent in it, and the Spirit of the Lord allowed us through our minds to tug at that patch and rip that patch off. So now that patch is off, So you're seeing what's really behind. You're seeing the truth of what is really is, what the world really is, and who the people are that are ruling it, So the Lord allowed us to rip it, based off of prophecy. This is Isaiah 25:7. He will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. So that veil, part of that veil, are all these lies that have been taught about Christopher Columbus, Thanksgiving, so on and so forth. I mean, there's numerous ones. Pick one. The Most High is a so-called white man. Yahushua's son is a so-called white man. The angels are white. The Israelites are white. I mean, on and on and on and on and on. All right. So now the cover story. You know what? Before that, let me just read this again. But ye are forgers of lies. So the cover story for so-called Christopher Columbus, that on August 3rd, 1492, Columbus sets out to discover a trade route. All right. But this is what they say. 1492, Christopher Columbus sailing for the Spanish crown weighs anchor for the New World. Now, why did he weigh an anchor for the New World when he was looking for Asia? Isn't Asia a part of the Old World? Matter of fact, let's see if we type in Old World map. Let's see what comes up. Old World map. Or so let me just put in map of the Old World. Let's see what that says. Map of the Old World. Okay. You know what? Let's just type in the Old World. Here we go. New World, Old World. So you had Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia, Pacific Ocean, Indian Ocean, Equator, all this. This is considered the Old World. All right. So now the cover story is, from his flagship Santa Maria, Columbus commanded a squadron that included the caravels Nina and Pinta. The original purpose of the voyage was not to discover new lands, but to open up a trade route to the Indies or Asia. Right? So that's what they're saying. They said it wasn't to discover a new world. Oh, we didn't even know about the new world. That's why when we discovered it, we didn't know what it was. You know, that would allow Spanish merchantmen to bypass the hostile Muslim fleets sailing out of the Middle East. So that was a cover story. But if that was a cover story, first and foremost, why did it said he weighed anchor for the new world? He weighs anchor for the new world. He leaves the old world to go to the new world. And this is one of his quotes that he quoted, you know, in his lifetime. You know, it says, following the light of the sun, we left the old world, Christopher Columbus. So if you're going to Asia, right, and Asia is a part of the old world, why are you following the sun to a new world? It says, following the light of the sun, we left the old world. So how are you going to leave the old world to set sail to the new world? You know, or how are you going to leave the old world behind if your intentions were to find another route to Asia or to the Indies? Because he knew exactly where he was going. And that's the point. The point is that these devils are a bunch of liars. That's what we read, Job 13:4. But ye are forgers of lies. You know, and the Lord is peeling that veil back. That's why he's giving us all this information. And the way I came across this, you know, the brothers from England are here. I was with the brother Ramah, and, you know, we happened to be channel surfing, and the movie Assassin's Creed was on, and we happened to watch it. And that was one of the quotes that came up in that movie Assassin's Creed. Let me see if I can pull that up. Let me hit that. I had that up, but I guess it escaped me. All right, so the movie Assassin's Creed, this movie here, we were watching it, and in the movie, they quoted that. They quoted that in Latin. They quoted the same saying that Christopher Columbus made. I believe they quoted it in Latin, and they said, following the light of the sun, we left the old world. And then the chick said, oh, that's Christopher Columbus's quote. And I'm like, wait a minute. I thought he was supposed, the cover story or the story is that he was supposed to go to find another route to India or to Asia. Isn't that part of the old world as we see here? Which shows you it was all bullshit. He was looking for, he knew exactly where he was going. He was finding a route to the new world because they had to establish a new world order. So they had to they had to take over the lands that were already inhabited, you know, to be able to set up this new world order, because they couldn't do it in the old world because the old world was already inhabited by people. So they had to come to a new place to establish a new world order so that they can in turn go back and use this world to conquer the whole world and bring it into subjection under the new what they call the new world order. And this is the book of Job chapter 5. And verse 12, he says, he disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. So they have an enterprise, and that enterprise happens to go all the way back to the Renaissance. So, and that was their goal. Their whole mission was to get the control of the whole world. But they needed a place that they can establish their plans and launch that new world order from. And that was America. And that's the reason why Christopher Columbus was sent over here for that purpose. And he was a so-called Jew, an Amalekite, and he was funded by so-called Jews, Amalekites, to come over to this side of the world and establish that. This is not no big prolific thing. It's just that when I heard that in the movie, I said, you know what? I'm going to find the quote. And sure enough, I found it. I said, I'll do a little lesson on it, just to show that this devil already knew where he was going. So this is just more of Esau being exposed, Esau being made bare. The foreskin being peeled off of this devil, and those lies and that patch of lies that he put up is peeled all the way off, and and those with the eye salve are going to see it. And those without the eye salve are not going to see it. The ones that that this devil blinded, which I'll get that real quick. 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and 3. It says, but if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, in whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not. So these Israelites out here and these other people that can't see it is because the Lord blinded them. He used this devil to blind them because his whole world is set up to blind people. That's why it was set up. It was set up to blind these people. And there's been a great darkness upon the face of the earth until the Lord woke us up, beginning with the men before us, the prophets before us, all the way up until now, to bring out the truth and expose these lies. This is Isaiah 60 and 2. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. See? So there was a gross darkness that covered all of the earth. So gross that people had no clue or no idea what the hell was going on. They thought if you were just a good, hard-working person that you can make it in this society. Not knowing that the intentions of those that ruled in the secret government or shadow governments was to enslave everybody and put microchips inside of them. So there was a whole agenda. There's a whole agenda that this devil has, but he's not going to accomplish it, as we read in Job the 5th chapter. But the Lord shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. And what's that glory? This truth, and that's why the Lord made us men to break down these strongholds, and to destroy these lies that have been taught. So this devil, Christopher Columbus, the cover story was that he was supposed to find another route to Asia or to the Indies. But one of his quotes is, following the light of the sun, we left the old world behind. Why? Because they knew that they were going to a new world. And even in this article, it says 1492, Christopher Columbus sailing for the Spanish crown, weighs anchor for the new world. See? So that this world was not new. Asia and the Indies were not new. Okay? This was the new lands. And that he knew about these. Why? Because he had the Apocrypha and other maps, that he had. Because other navigators had sailed ship over to the side of the world, beginning with the Sidonians, which are Hamites, Canaanites. And then you had other nations that have traveled over to this side of the world and knew that this side of the world was here. So pretty much this devil is a liar. I guess I could just call it Columbus's quote proves he knew where he was going, or something along those lines. But with that, I hope you brothers have been edified. To the next time I say shalom.